Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to your internet. Welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where today get an extra healthy side helping of biscuits with jelly. Sounds good. Fresh baked biscuits. Sounds good to me. I'm a little bit hungry. Uh, Hope everybody's having a good day, and thanks for coming and join us. Uh, As you can see, I'm by myself. This time it's not because I couldn't decide. I have sent Maddie a link, and she said she'd be on, but she's not here yet. Something must be going on. Got her distracted. I'm sure she'll be along momentarily. Also, Monkey has got a link, uh, as he does every stream. So if he's awake and able to come, maybe he'll come on. But anyway, in the meantime, I'll try uh, to keep you entertained until I get someone here. Dax, you make a biscuit every time you use the restroom. But yeah, more or less, I guess. Foxy, if I tag you in something on Twitter, will you read it? It's news. Well, not knowing what it is, I can't guarantee that, but I promise you I'll take a look at it. And if it's something that I would read, I'll read it. um, Diesel Dave out in the chat. Green Thunder to Mighty. This is Kyle, Clinton Whitaker. Hey, everybody, Michael Weiner, my biggest Redneck Trek fan. Duck Dog, Havoc, everybody. Anybody I missed? Jen's out there somewhere, or she was earlier. So, welcome to everybody. Hold on just a second here. Let me click that off. Okay. All right. Cigar chomping penguin. Good afternoon. Mama Minnie. Hey, baby. And excuse me. Little bit of the belchies there. And my phone, I apologize. You may hear it a lot in the background, has been going off like crazy because the trade deadline for the NFL is almost here, and it's been nothing but trade news for a couple of days, just blowing my phone up. And yeah, I could disable that, but generally I'm interested because I love football. So we'll just have to deal with it. Kyler, hey, how you doing? And just checking my Twitter. Okay, there are 2 notifications there. And there is the story. Okay, yeah, I'll read that in a little bit. Can you wait until Maddie gets here, and that way we can discuss it. Hope she's all right. I sent her a DM about an hour and a half ago, and she responded a half hour after that she'd be glad to come on. So, not sure. She may have fell asleep, took a nap. I was afraid I wasn't going to wake up from my nap. I did take a little nap after I got the stream set up and sent the DM to Maddie. I'd laid down for a little bit, slept for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. And, yeah. So I hope everybody's weekend was good. Mine was great. My football team won a very close, ugly game, but hey, a W's a W. I'll take it. And the ending of it was phenomenal. It was a nail biter, if you will. Come down to the last minute, 51-yard field goal from in the last 22 seconds of the game. So, and I'm sorry if you don't like football talk, but I'm a big football fan, so it's going to creep in every once in a while. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, because I am a fan and I like football. Thank you, Cryptic, for the Streamlabs donation. Being a scarecrow isn't for everyone, but hey, it's in my genes, spelled with a J. Okay, well, it's if you say so, dude. Get back over. Hey, Becca Furley, RJ Bansma's out there. And my phone's still going crazy. And just telling me that. All right. So yeah, I hope everybody's weekend was good. Also, we'd been really working hard at babysitting the last few weeks, since J Kid's wedding and so forth. And that's slowed down, at least for this part of this week. So we've got a little bit of a break, although the wife is on her way now. She left right after the stream started to go pick up the granddaughters. I take them to school in the morning. She picks them up in the afternoon because she has to go on and pick up my daughter at work after that. Pat, hey, how you doing? But it's it's at least give us a little bit of a break. We're old and we don't have the stamina that we used to have when we were 30 years old. That extra 30 years does make a difference. And if you don't think so, then you just don't know. But you'll know when you get there. I'm going to give Maddie a few more minutes to see if she's going to be able to make it. And if she's still not here, I'm going to see if I can't get somebody else pulled in. Right wing BDSM guy, hey, what's up? And if I've missed anybody in my hellos, I'm sorry. I don't see so good, and sometimes the chat moves really quick. It gets a little hard to keep up with sometimes, and for me at least, it's really hard to sometimes. Okay, looking at another. Okay. It's really hard sometimes to read the chat and talk at the same time. I have trouble walking and chewing gum at the same time, it seems like these days. I didn't used to be that. This is Kyle. This is crap. I'm 24 and I get exhausted watching my sister for just a weekend. Yeah, multiply that by 4, because when we're babysitting for my youngest daughter, that's how many kids we're watching. 4 girls. And it gets pretty exhausting. But the hardest part was it was mostly on my wife. I'm not going to take most of the credit because she done the majority of it, which meant that she wasn't getting any sleep either because she works nights. So yeah, it was a rough week last week for her. Very, very rough. So she's been able to catch up some on her sleep. Shoot, Saturday she slept about 15 hours straight, and I don't blame her at all. RJ, are you blind? I'm getting that way as I, as I get older. I'm certainly getting that way. To where it's harder and harder to see. The main problem is I'm way overdue for new glasses. They say you're supposed to get new glasses every couple of years, and the pair I'm wearing now are at least 4 years old, and it shows. It shows. It's getting hard to see some things sometimes. But yeah. Maddie's still not showing up. Hey, Dex, are you still out there? Can you stream? You want a link? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, or Pat if he's off work. I never know when Pat's working. Okay, yeah. Hold on a second, Dex. I'll get you a invite here as soon as I find you. I don't like the way this new Twitter's set up at all. It's so not user friendly, in my opinion. There we go. You got a link, dude. Check your Twitter. And so when he gets here, we'll discuss that that article that Foxy sent, and as well as other things. We'll try to fill at least a couple of hours, and hopefully somewhere in between there, we entertain you. That's always my hope, is to be entertaining. And there's Maddie. There she is.
Here I am. I'm finally living up to my Cuban heritage, and I'm late. Hi, y'all.
You are. But something must have happened.
I got wrapped up in doing my editings and stuff, and I looked down and went, "Oh shit, I'm late."
Yeah, it happens. I wasn't sure he was coming, so I also invited Dax, and here he is. Hey, what's going on?
Am I really here? I might not exist.
Yeah, you exist.
Oh,
Skittles exist. Do you got your Skittles today, Dax?
no, I'm kind of broke for a while, so no Skittles until the paychecks start rolling in.
Well, I get that. I mean, that's my everyday.
That's weird. I can't hear him.
You can't hear Dax? I hear him just fine.
That's weird. Okay. Let me leave and come back in and see if we can fix this, because I don't want to be talking over somebody.
Was that for VB, Dax?
Whenever I see it, I have to do it.
Yeah. Your boy Pat says, "Hey there, Maddie, and Tax," and then he corrected it to Tax. Was it a Freudian slip there? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't much like autocorrect. Yeah, just pull Maddie back in. There she is. Say something, Dax. Let's see if she can hear you.
Something, Dax. Let's see if she can hear you.
You didn't.
Nope.
That's
weird because
Got no clue what's going on, but I can
certainly hear him, and apparently the chat can hear him too. Must be something strange on your end.
I have got no clue.
Well, whatever you need to do to try to fix it, you go right on. I'll pull, if I have to, I'll pull you back in when you get back.
Okie dokie.
All right. Yeah, that's really weird. I've never run across that before, where we can hear some people but not everybody.
Maybe she just ignores me or doesn't like me.
Well, most of us do. You know?
I mean, it's fair. I mean,
yeah. Most of us do. So how you been, Dax? Besides broke and unemployed?
well, just waiting on the what do you call it, the background check and blood tests. That I know that part I'll pass bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll start up, and I'll technically be making more than what I was making doing my MIC job.
Oh, real? Oh, you got a job lined up then? I hadn't heard that. I haven't been around the internet much for the last several days.
It's probably safer that way.
Yeah, I mean, I've done my streams, and I done Redneck Trek, and I that's it. As soon as they're over, I'm back off. Get me away from this madhouse.
I think my biggest problem is the first shift. Ugh.
Oh, you'll get used to it. You might even learn to love it like I do.
I've been doing third and second for like 5 years. It's difficult.
Yeah. Welcome to real life.
No, I've been waking up before 9. You know how distressing that is for me?
Before before 9. Dude, I wake up at 5 in the morning just because.
I go to bed at 9 in the morning.
God. Okay. Yay! I can hear him. Okay. Woo.
Yay! The sound is a go.
She'll regret it.
Alex, for these days you've changed so much. What are you talking about, dude? I never know anymore if you're ready to stream. You have to tell me. Do you want a link? Because if you do, you can have one. Of course you can. But with the change in your schedule, I just don't know anymore. I could do you like Monkey and send you a tweet or link every time. You know, and you show up if you can. If you want to do that, I can do that too. I said I'll join when I'm done. Okay. Are you done? Because you know, my secret camera installed in your house is not working today. It's not functioning. Must be an internet thing. So I can't see what you're doing. I'm sorry.
Your Batman spy gear is not functioning to optimal levels.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and send you the link and you come in when you're done. Okay. And we'll get that done here. And all right, there. Now.
Yeah,
There.
quit complaining.
Yeah. Anyway, in the meantime, Foxy sent us an article.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that say you don't notice my stutter, there it just was. I hate that. It really drives me nuts because I know it's there, and my kids know it's there, and they notice it all the time too. But people say they don't notice it. So let's see if we can't get to that and open it up. If the internet works good for me today, we'll see what happens. All right. Boom. And well, it didn't give a link. It just went to a Twitter feed. It says, breaking, a Saudi tycoon sent hundreds of thousands of dollars to the U.S. to help pay for the inauguration ceremony of former President Barack Obama when he won the presidency in 2012.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, she sent me that one too. I think it's just a little breaking news tweet without any further information.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, I don't know that I'm surprised. I mean, that's what politics is all about, isn't it? It's not just because it's Obama,
No.
but you know, politicians take donations. That's what they do. That's how they fund their campaigns, unless they happen to be, you know, rich like Trump and Bernie Sanders, and then they still take donations because they don't want to spend their own money.
Sanders can't possibly be rich. He wants to give everybody free stuff.
Well, he can start by digging in his own account and giving me free stuff.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'll take one of his summer homes.
Yeah. I don't even have to be, you know what? I'm not greedy. He can just buy the house I live in now. I've rented it now for about 15 years. I'm used to it. He could just buy it for me and a nice gaming computer too. And I'll call it a day. That's all I want. But yeah, it's sarcastic old codger. Of course I am, Alex. You've known me for 3 years now. Have I ever been anything different?
If I were rich, free Skittles for all. Exactly, Mr. Dex.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the noise of you editing, Maddie?
It's me typing, sorry.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I was just curious. I tend to be really heavy on the keys when I type, and especially when I'm editing, because I use the shortcut keys when I'm editing in Vegas rather than clicking all the time.
I mean, that makes sense. You also use the short bus.
Well, yeah, I did. Although the first 9 years of my life in school, I walked to school because both the elementary and junior high were within a few blocks of my house.
I did that for elementary, at least the tail end of elementary and all of middle.
Well, the junior high was actually built across the street from the elementary school. The elementary school had been there forever. Now it's no longer open to the public. It has become a school for troubled kids, kids with behavior problems. They put them in there. But it was my elementary school.
I mean, nothing changed then.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have behavior problems in grade school. I was
No, they were a
good
feature.
kid. Yeah, it wasn't until I got in junior high that I started to be a problem child. And when I discovered that I could let my hair grow out and rock and roll and the little weed stuff, I mean, as far as that update, I am not surprised.
Me either.
Nope.
And again, it's not just because it's Obama. Now, the fact that Obama would probably call out Trump for it wouldn't surprise me either, because from what I've seen from him, he tends to be a little bit hypocritical. But
hypocritical? Come on, no.
Really?
Yeah. Kyler says, "Let there be rock." Yeah. Well, I was always aware of rock and roll. I mean, my parents listened to 50s rock, so that's what I grew up on. But it was their rock and roll I listened to for vast majority, because that's what was on the radio. And when you're a kid, you don't control the radio, right? You listen to what your parents listened to.
Yep.
But by the time I was 14 years old, I discovered my own brand of rock and roll.
Satanism.
Yeah. All them satanic bands like Aerosmith and Queen and
Kiss.
No, not for me. It wasn't. Odd thing that this generation now doesn't know, but when Kiss first come out, I was a little bit of an older teen then when they really hit big, and we considered it bubblegum, that only the younger teens listened to and the preteens. We didn't give it much credit. I know that seems odd now, and I do like some of Kiss's songs, but they're not one of my favorite bands.
Knights in Satan's Service.
Yeah. The Knights in I remember I did buy the Kiss Alive 2 album once upon a time. Funny story, I pulled that album out years after I bought it, and it was a double album, right? And this was vinyl, so it was the album. It wasn't a CD. And when I opened up the cover, because, double albums in those days opened up like a book, and I looked in the crease.
Let me guess.
It was full of marijuana. There was enough loose marijuana there that I could roll a joint with it.
You could go to jail for having an album sold.
Yeah, this is long after I quit smoking dope and after I started having kids. But what we used to do, we used to take double albums and de-seed our pot on the album. It worked really well for that.
Yep.
And evidently I hadn't had that album out since those days.
So he says. I don't know if I can believe a criminal like him anymore.
I rolled the joint and gave it to somebody that still smoked when I went to work.
And then you're handing off drugs to somebody else. Now you're a dealer. I can't deal with you anymore.
Well, it's pot. If it
That's
was
what they
anything
say,
else, I
gateway
wouldn't
drug.
do that. But I've always been of the opinion that pot is no more harmful to you than alcohol, and probably less so, in all honesty. So, yeah, I don't smoke now. But I think the government is incredibly stupid for not legalizing it because of all the money they're missing out on.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Thank you, Cryptic, for the Streamlabs donation. Rock and roll? ? Is that when you roll actual rocks down the hill during the Stone Age? You watch them rock roll. All right. Yeah. Nice try, Cryptic. But
That was horrible.
that one was a little lacking.
I appreciated it.
Yeah.
That was not your best work, Cryptic.
So you don't have to roll a rock. You just have to, snort. I mean, what?
Yeah. It reminds me of an old Bugs Bunny cartoon when this rock rolled by him. I forget which cartoon it was, but I just remember this one scene. A rock rolled by him, and Bugs Bunny says, "Rock and roll, no doubt."
I remember when I used to work at a convenience store, this person came in the middle of the night and I was listening to old school R&B. He looked at the radio and he looked at me. He looked back at the radio, back at me. He goes, "Now I know you're not old enough to understand what you're listening to." I said, "And I know you haven't been in my dad's basement to see his record collection." He goes, "True, true."
Michael Weiner says those were the days. Today there are no seeds. Go figure. Well, how the heck do you grow your own pot? If there's no seeds, how do you grow your own?
Right.
Jiminy Christmas, that's discrimination. I wished I still had pictures that my wife got behind my back and burned. She burned all my old stoner pictures.
Rude.
Yeah. And me and my buddies used to take the seeds and go grow our own in a patch of ground that we found. Funny enough, it was government ground. You know those big radar towers?
Yeah.
We grew it right under one. It was a
Nobody goes up
fenced-in
there,
area,
right?
and that belongs to the federal government. We showed up one year, though, and all our weed was gone, and we got the heck out of there in a hurry.
They're watching us, man.
I actually done that a few years ago when J-Kid was working as a DJ at a roller rink. Seriously, he was working as a DJ at a roller rink. And I was sitting outside waiting for him to get off, and there was a little patch of woods. I don't know how it is where you live, but in Indianapolis, there's areas where there'll be small patches of wood, normally behind businesses or neighborhoods or whatever.
Yeah.
Little patch of woods, and I was watching a bunch of cops show up over there. And as I watched a little bit later, I watched him pull out these huge pot plants. It was funny. I sit there, watched them. I don't know who had grown them or if they got arrested, but their stuff sure got confiscated. But anyway, yeah, you clone the plants now, Kyle says. Well, that's too much work for me. Havoc earlier says, do French people smoke weed or weed? OUI apostrophe D. That was almost a cryptic joke there, Havoc. Banza says, when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. You know what? I kind of appreciate that one.
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate that one. It sneaks up on you. I like that one. Anyway, as I said, I hope everybody had a good weekend. How was your weekend, Maddie?
My weekend was pretty good. I finally got back to sitting down and saying, screw it. And I actually streamed a game over the weekend, and Friday, Ronan and I did the new-tastic adventures of Maddie and Ronan, 7 Days to Die.
Oh.
So, yeah, we started that on Alpha 18. So we started streaming that on Twitch on Fridays when he's off. He cussed and hollered because he died 3 times. I only died once, and I'm the noob.
And you're the newbie.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't played 18 yet because they did just come out with 18 public.
Yeah.
It's out for wide distribution. I haven't played it yet. I heard it's tougher, especially single player. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah, it is. You have to actually put points and different skills and stuff now in order to be proficient in certain weapons and things.
Yeah.
And so we've split it up. He's going to be the forager, and I'm the one putting like skills in spear weapons and sniping as well as crafting stuff, because I cannot hit the broadside of a barn with a bow.
Now, is this just multiplayer, or did he have a dedicated server?
We have actually a server that we have started up with Up to 6 people can play. So
Wow.
4 more. We got 4 open slots every time we play for people who want to join in.
I love the game, but oh my gosh, it's such a pain for me to play multiplayer, whether it's a server or whether it's just a multiplayer game with people. I get so much lag
Oof.
that it's almost unplayable, and it is on horde nights. I'm absolutely no use on a horde night on a multiplayer, and I get the amazing Stretch Armstrong zombies that can actually hit you from across the street. That's just not fun, folks. No. Fix your stuff. 7 Days to Die, because I've been playing games multiplayer since most of you have been alive or before, and I cannot remember a game that ever had this issue. I mean, in the early 90s, in the mid 90s, there was an issue playing Unreal, not Unreal Tournament, the original Unreal online.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at the time where cable companies were first coming out with cable internet. So most everybody had 56K modems.
Yeah.
And if you had a cable connection, you were running circles around people in 56K. And that happened for a while. It was an issue, but then they fixed it. And if they could fix it in the 90s, why can't you fix it in 2019?
Right?
Ugh. Jeez. But anyway, that's my rant. Do I remember dial-up, Banzema? I miss dial-up. I miss that noise that you got when it was connecting.
You knew you were going somewhere then.
Right. It gave you excitement. Yay, I'm getting on the internet. Now you just click on your browser icon and boom, you're on.
Yeah.
You know, I miss those noises. You know, I need my internet to make that noise now. You know, when I open up a browser.
Sarah, get off the internet. I need to use the phone.
My first modem was a 14.4.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they had slower ones. But I had a 14.4 was my first one. And so when I jumped up from 14.4 to 56K, man, I thought I was flying.
Right.
Now I look back at how long I waited to connect up with 56K or for a website to open up or whatever. I'm like, wow, how did I ever tolerate that?
I remember my mom. It wasn't my mom. It was the guy I was with at this time where we had the dial up and everything. And every time the phone would ring and I'd pick it up, trying to run the business out of the house and dump him off the internet. And he looked at me and he goes, "Can you please?" I said, "It's called a second line. Can we get one?"
That's actually what we did. Pat just says, and you couldn't make or receive calls when on dial-up. Yeah, or it would knock you off the internet when you got a call. So we went like that for a little while, but I actually, and at the time I had a pretty good paying job. I sprung for a second phone line that was just dedicated to our computers. So that way we didn't have to worry about that. Although in the very early days of me being on the internet, you know, we're talking Comcast, or not Comcast, CompuServe, Prodigy. You guys remember those companies?
Oh, yeah.
You paid by the hour. So you had to really limit your time.
And there was what was it? Earthlink changed to MindSpring. You had AOL. Because,
yeah.
You know, AOL.
AOL was the big first mega internet company. You
then
know.
MindSpring popped up to try and compete with them.
And then you had CompuServe and Prodigy, which did compete. But you paid by the hour. My wife and I had to divide up. We actually made a schedule. I printed out a schedule. Okay, this is your time online. This is my time online. And we can't go over that because we can't afford it.
Right.
Then, yes, Deck Train, you beat me to it. Then I discovered Net Zero and switched to that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what net zero was, if it's not the first, it was one of the first free dial-up internets. It was free.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had to put up with ads on the the app window. Not you didn't get ads elsewhere, but you got ads on the app window. Oh yeah, you did. You got ads at the very bottom of your browser, but you got used to that,
Yeah.
For free, it was better than paying by the hour because good Lord, that got expensive real fast.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you had a lot to do.
Well,
Or you
yeah,
lost track of time.
I think it was like $1 or maybe $2 an hour. And trust me, that adds up really quick. Just imagine paying $2 an hour for every hour you're online now, because everybody's online 24/7 now. Just imagine what that would cost.
Yep.
But,
I remember making websites using HTML and then upgrading to CSS. And then my son, it was hilarious because MySpace, he looked at MySpace page, mine, and he goes, "Holy crap, Mom, that is really cool. How'd you do that?" I said, "Well, your lame ass mom, who apparently can't learn anything new, learned coding so she could fix her page."
oh, I learned HTML very early. Was pretty good at it. Got pretty good at C++. And oh yeah, GeoCities. Everybody had a website on GeoCities.
Oh yes, yep. Mm-hmm. I remember the GeoCities website.
Sorry, Dax. We're probably talking about things that were before your time.
All right, you old fogies. I grew up with it, so it was new to everybody at the time, and I just became a master of it.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is with my MySpace and my son at the time, he had that teenage phase where grown-ups didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So, when he asked me, well, Mom, if I gave you my login information, can you fix my MySpace page? I mean, you mean your mother, who doesn't know how to do anything online, fix your MySpace page?
Now, I never did MySpace, but my wife and kids did. I just wasn't interested.
Yeah, well, I mean, back then I was even doing my jewelry and stuff. I'm still waiting. We're still trying to get my workshop together. But, every time there was a network, I was probably the last one in the house to sign up for Facebook because I just looked at it and went, God, that's plain.
But everybody and their brother had a GeoCities website of some sort. Whatever you were into, you had a website on GeoCities.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, but Dax, how was your weekend?
Spent a lot of time running around getting the paperwork I needed. That's about it.
Yeah. What is this job? If you said I didn't catch it, I'm sorry.
Security.
Security.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Definitely different, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Armed or unarmed?
Unarmed, of course.
Oh, well, there you go.
Not that I need to be armed.
Well, armed. Armed generally makes a little more on the hour than the unarmed.
Right, because you also need your CCL and all the sorts of stuff. So,
yeah. Well, cool, man. I'm glad to hear it.
As long as that the background check goes through, which it should. I can't foresee anything wrong. Should start getting paid within the month.
And until they find out about your prostitution record.
Well, I was under a different name at the time, so unless they're really good at digging.
At one time, I actually had looked into doing security. I was getting older and everything, but then I got to where I just can't stand on my feet that long. Can't do it. Sorry. But I'm not a big guy, but I have a look about me, and my demeanor is intimidating. So what would you call it?
You look squirrely, and nobody wanted you to bite them.
I looked intimidating. People felt I was intimidating, even though I'm a small guy. I put off that aura, Thank you, Cigar Chomping Penguin, for the Streamlabs donation. Fun story. When I was a freshman in high school, my parents still had dial-up. They refused to upgrade until I had to walk home from school with 30 pounds of cookie dough because my uncle forgot to unplug the modem. Yeah, I remember those times and situations.
Yeah.
It was frustrating for me because I was really big into gaming at the time, as I still am, but I was really big into the Unreal and then later the Unreal Tournament community. I actually worked for a German American website for a while that was the unofficial official website for Unreal Tournament. And what I wrote articles rating fan created maps. You know, I would download it on my computer, play it, and then give it a score and tell why, that kind of thing. And I remember being in matches when cable first come out, cable internet first come out, and kids laughing at us with 56K. Well, geez, if you can't keep up, just upgrade to cable. Hey, some of us parents don't buy it for us, you moron. We got to work for what we got.
Bitter Bloodwing is best Bloodwing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was fragging noobs before it was cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've played Fallout 1, 2, and 3, and a little bit of New Vegas. I'm the oddball. I really didn't care for New Vegas. Sorry. Haven't been able to afford to buy 4 to try it out. But yeah. I know I'm the oddball. Everybody loved New Vegas, and I just didn't care for it. I preferred 3. But that's just me. I remember Earthlink. Bandsman, but yeah,
I had Earthlink. Mail truck. Oh, sorry.
yeah. I was fragging noobs. I used to drive people crazy because if you ever played Unreal or Unreal Tournament, you know at the beginning of the match it was a mad dash for the weapons because you didn't just get weapons; they spawned, right? You started with the basic weapons, the pistol, I think, and I would make a mad dash. I memorized all the maps and knew where the sniper rifle spawned, and I would make a mad dash for that, find the high ground, and snipe the crap out of them. Boy, people hated me. They'd fuss at me, yell at me, call me a camper. I'm like, you don't kill it. You don't like it. Come kill me if you can get to me. Of course, we've had this conversation on this channel before, but I don't consider sniping camping. That's sniping.
It's not.
Yeah, no. Camping is when you get yourself in a choke point or in a room and hunker down in the corner and just wait for people to run in. That's camping.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you're camping a spawn point. Yeah, that's bullcrap.
Spawn campers are the worst things alive.
I hate them. Hate them. You know, you'd play, and it used to happen. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty World at War, which was the last World War II one that they done. And I really loved that game. I really did. I still do. I would play it now if I had it on computer. It was on my Xbox. But I played a lot of that. But one of the bad things is people would memorize the spawn points in the maps and they'd camp them.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord, I hated that. Yeah, predatory skill. I call it the predatory skill. Exactly. You know, of course, they later games like Call of Duty done something where you couldn't really snipe effectively. Because they come out with the kill cam, which once you were killed, it would show the kill cam, which showed where the sniper was at that just killed you. So, like, well, crap, you're giving away my hide spot. Stop it. But yeah, that was my preferred. I love to snipe. And I love Borderlands, and my favorite character is always the sniper. Mordecai and who was it? Zero, although Zero less than Mordecai. Just absolutely loved Mordecai in that game. I love to snipe. Mostly because I'm slow and I'm not going to be able to contend with the young twitchy kids if I'm like 10 feet away from them. They're going to kill me. But yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're getting a job. That was pretty quick. You weren't out of the market for very long. That's good.
Nope, I didn't sit on my ass. I immediately went and got the stuff I needed to get it done because there's no reason to sit there and wait for something to fall into your lap.
Oh, absolutely. Of course not. Of course not. Now, the job market, of course, I realize it's not like it was when I was younger. I was never without a job. I've been without a job now for 4 years, but when I was a young man, your age or younger, and probably up to my late 40s, I was never without a job. I'd, quit one and already have another one lined up,
Mm-hmm.
And just, you just get out. And that was in the days where you could, nowadays they want you to apply online. And when I was younger, you had to go out and pound the pavement,
I still appreciate people who did. If I were a recruiter, I would more appreciate somebody who went out and made the effort than somebody who spent 5 minutes online, called it a day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always did, even after the internet time, I preferred to print that application off and go to the place of business personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people tell, well, just apply online. I said, oh, I already did that, but I would like to speak to a manager if it's okay. And some would hem haul around, but always they would eventually get me a talk with the manager. And every time I did that, I got the job. Every time. Got the job.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I realize the job market today is a whole lot tougher than it was when I was younger, but
I remember
still
getting my first official receptionist job. And I say official because I had some through temp agencies, but this was the first one that was permanent. And for an attorney for a law firm, a small one. I was, bilingual, and the girl that was training me was teaching me how to use, the phone and all this other stuff. And then I answered the phone, and the managing partner, who happened to be a retired JAG officer from the Navy, walked in as I was asking my trainer, "What's fianza?" She goes, "That's bond." Oh, okay. So Mr. Prelo, the retired JAG officer, looked at me and goes, "I thought you said you spoke Spanish fluently." I said, "I did. I do." I said, "But can you honestly tell me that you understand and know every word in the English language?" He goes, "No." I said, "And I don't know every word in the Spanish language, and I've never had anyone in my family have the unfortunate happenstance of needing to be bonded out, so I never learned the word."
Yeah. Mr. Dax is Bloodwing smart, since having a talk with the managers like a mini interview. Exactly. You cannot make the impression with just giving an online application that you can in person. You just can't, and if you want that job and you really want it, you're going to try to make an impression. You've got to stand out from the crowd because you and thousands of other people are applying for the same position, especially in these days. You've got to find a way to make that impression, make you stand out. And I always interviewed well. That's one thing I always did. I always interviewed well, and in school I always tested well. I don't know why. It's not that I think I'm smarter than anybody else or anything, but I always interviewed well. So yeah, I always tried to get some FaceTime with the manager.
Yep.
But I keep checking over in StreamYards to see if Alex has showed up yet. At this rate, he's not going to make it. And if he does, we'll have like a few minutes left.
I remember when I went to I was interviewing for the job to become a server for O'Charlie's. because I forgot which job I had left, and this was after Pizza. I used to be a shift manager for Pizza Hut, got blackballed from that entire corporation because one of the coworkers lied on me and said I had called them the N-word.
Yeah, had that happen before.
So, here I am being interviewed, and the GM's like, well, it says here you're a shift manager at Pizza Hut. Yes. He asked me what happened. I told him. He said, all right. He goes, did you? I said, I can't even use the N-word in polite conversation like I'm talking to you now. Don't feel comfortable using it, period. He went,
Right.
okay. And then he started asking me usual stuff. He goes, if you find out that, one of your guests in your area is, not happy and stuff, what are you going to do? I said, I will going to do everything in my power, especially using the training that I had as a shift manager, to try and correct what they're not happy about. Before coming to you and, saying that I need your help with the situation. He said, he looked surprised. And I'm like, he goes, well, okay, that's a bit refreshing. I said, sir, if I don't have to run to you and say, I need your help because this guest is giving me a problem, I won't. I know you're a general manager. From being a shift manager, I know more or less what a general manager has to do in order to run a restaurant, because Pizza Hut shift manager training isn't just for Pizza Hut. They teach you how to run a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, I said, if there's anything in my power that I can do to fix the situation and I don't need you, I will do it. And that's what got me the job.
Yeah. Hey, Alex.
I'm so in love with you.
Nice of you to show up.
It's more sarcasm.
Well, have you ever known me to be any different?
Well, yeah. I've seen you slightly peeved before.
Well, yeah. Well, that's when I get peeved. It's more than sarcasm. I get downright mean.
What's happening, folks?
Same old. You?
I have just finished the final puzzle piece for this freaking video. It's taken me 2 days.
Yeah, I've seen your posts on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter much, but I do check it in the morning, and then I check it at night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I've seen your posts.
Oh my god. Bloodwing, if you saw this girl, you'd want to just you'd take your slipper off and you'd hit her. Come on. Oh, she's there's this big drama that was started with Foodie Beauty, aka Chantal, but then
Yeah,
this gobshite appears out of nowhere, cheerleading for her, and she's pretty much the root of all this drama. And she is, well, she's a unique individual, shall we say?
she's special. Bless her heart.
Yeah, she is, mate. Yeah, she's her chin's wet, where she's been dribbling.
Yeah. And in case you don't know, chat, when a redneck says "bless your heart," that's not a compliment. He's telling you
your heart.
You're stupid beyond belief, and you just can't help it. Bless your little heart.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. You dumb little shit. Ugh, frigging hell, yeah. So now the video is done.
Have a good rest, Owen.
See you later, Owen, mate. Yeah, the video's done, and I now need to render the final pieces together. Stick them together with glue, which is 3 pieces together. And then once that's done, I'll upload it.
Well, you've been almost as productive as I was last week, getting 2 episodes of Redneck Track done.
Yep.
Are you still trying to get me to give you credit for that?
You should.
No.
You're always giving me grief. The people out here don't see it, but on Twitter and DMs, you're always giving me grief about not getting busy on it. And now I got busy on it, actually, and nothing.
1, I've had no invitations from you to play any games. And 2, you should be doing it anyway.
What's that got to do with it?
That's the whole point of me pestering you, you shitbag.
What's that got to do with it?
That's why I pester you.
Well, 19, the next episode is done except for the music. I got to add the music. And that won't take, an hour at most. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
it wouldn't take that long if I didn't stress over. I really do. I stress over each and every scene. And then I go back through and I've got like 30 or 40 songs downloaded that I use in my videos. And go through each one to see which one would be perfect. And then I get to the next scene and I'm going back through the same music again just to see if so it takes me a little while. But,
Okay.
It's like I've got 2 more videos to get up. It's like finally my ADD brain has gotten in the habit of, okay, I'm getting ready to say the news on the stream. Let me hit the record button on OBS. Because it used to be before, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to remember to do this. So I'd record the entire stream and then find the 2 segments and make the videos out of the segments. And I'm like, there's got to be an easier way to do this.
I did want to go back to something, your story about Pizza Hut and somebody saying that you used the N-word. Something very similar happened to me at my last job at the limo company. On Saturdays, we run they run a very small crew, a skeleton crew, because it's just not, the call-in center is just not that busy. There's not a lot of people making reservation on Saturdays. That's when a lot of the people are getting their jobs done, getting transported, but they're not making reservations. You know, they don't have a lot. So we usually had one dispatcher, the cashier, which is me, and one customer service rep, answering the phone. And of course, I helped answer the phones as well when I could. This particular Saturday, the girl that worked with us was a girl fresh out of high school, and she had one of them, you know what I'm talking about, one of them, the world owes me everything.
Oh, yeah.
Attitudes. She was the kind that would take off for lunch and be back 2 hours later.
Yeah.
That kind of, I don't know how she even kept a job. I think they were afraid to fire her because she was a POC.
No, I did use that word once, but I'll let you finish.
But anyway, this particular Saturday, she was my help. She was, supposed to be answering the phones. When phone calls at that place got backed up, there was a really annoying bell that would go off in the hallways if there were backups on the phone calls. And it wouldn't stop until you caught up, until you got all the calls out of backlog.
Yeah.
And I was really busy doing my cashiering duties, and the bell's going off, and the bell's going off, and the bell's going off. And finally, I got to where I could get in there, and I could answer the calls and got them all caught up. In the meantime, I had the dispatcher go down and check to see what was going on because she was in a different part of the building.
Yeah.
Go see what she was doing. He said she was just sitting there filing her nails.
Wow.
While the bell's going off. And so, and by person of color, I don't mean she wasn't black. Actually, she was a Cuban.
There are lazy, those of us, yes.
I went back there when I got the chance. And I said, what in the heck are you doing? I need you to be answering the phones. Now, I'm not a boss or anything, right? But people respected me there because I'd been there a really long time. And they knew that the big boss would back me up, usually.
Yeah.
And anyway, we got in an argument back and forth. And I will admit that I lost my temper and I slammed the door to the reservation room as I walked out.
Right.
She called our manager because managers didn't work on Saturdays. We didn't have a manager. She called our manager and told our manager that I cussed her out and threatened her.
Wow.
And I'm like, and as soon as the manager called me, I said, Susan, a female manager, I said, Susan, have you ever heard me cuss? Well, no. Has anyone ever heard me cuss? Well, no. Well, there you are.
Right.
And I never went into the room. I stood in the doorway the whole time. I will admit that I slammed the door. I did that and shouldn't have. I lost my temper.
Yeah.
But I wasn't anywhere near her to be threatening.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I actually only time in my life I used the N word. They had transferred this new shift manager over to our store. Now our store was a dine-in, buffet, carry-out, and delivery Pizza Hut. It did it all, so we were always busy during the dinner rushes and the meal services. And this new guy was just dragging his feet. He wasn't doing anything. He was coming up with excuses as to why he couldn't do stuff, or he'd come in late, he'd leave early. And I got so pissed off because they'd always schedule him with me, and I mumbled under my breath that he was a lazy N.
Oh, there was this girl and there was one other. And usually on Friday, I'd check the schedule to see who my help was going to be on Saturday because, it was kind of important.
Yeah.
And especially since there's no manager there, and they expected me as the senior employer to keep an eye on stuff, right? And I'm like, when I would see one of them two was scheduled, I was like, oh, crap, I'm in for it tomorrow.
And see, I thought the girls, first of all, 5 people that I worked with, they were related to one another. So it was already a fucked up work situation. Okay. So this guy comes into work, and in front of me, one of the girls that doesn't like me runs up to him, and she said, and I quote, "She called you an N-word when you weren't, she called you a lazy N when you weren't here." And he looked at her dead in the face, and you could have knocked her over with a feather when he said, "She's right. I wasn't acting very managerial. I was trying to get out of working and doing my duties. I wasn't doing things that I was supposed to be doing. She's right. I was being a lazy N. I had no problems with what she called me."
Yeah. You got those people. I think there's been that person everywhere I've ever worked.
Mm-hmm.
And my first job for a paycheck, I worked before that, but my first job for a paycheck was in 1976. So I've been in the workforce a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The first job I had, not official job. I mean, let's be honest. Well, it was when I was 14. What was that, Dax?
Nothing.
Yes.
You fucking prick. My sister got me a job working with her, and she worked at Tony and Guy Hair Salon, which is a chain of hair salons that are quite posh, if you will. And I used to work for cash in hand, and I used to work on a Tuesday and Saturday, sweeping up hair, washing middle-class ladies' hair, and making cups of tea and coffee.
Ew.
So you embraced your gay side.
Ooh. Wait a minute.
I'm fabulous, honey.
Is nobody else catching the obvious here? You made coffee and tea? You're in a hair salon where hair is getting cut, it's flying through the air, and you're drinking coffee? Ew.
Well, I mean, a lot of women, when they come in, the first thing they have is their hair washed. So their hair tends to be quite wet when it's being cut.
Yeah. All right,
it's not like our salons, mate, or our barbers, where hair's going everywhere.
All right, Maddie, take her for a walk. Take her for a walk. You go right ahead.
Enjoy.
I don't know. That just sounds. Ooh, that's like.
It's not like a barber's though, mate. You know what I mean?
That's like eating lunch at a strip joint.
I mean, I fucking would eat lunch at a strip joint.
I mean, it's finger looking good.
I mean, you drink at a strip joint, don't you? It's the same thing.
Yeah, but it'd be okay if you're at the tables, but if you're sitting right, at the seat right next to the stage, ooh.
Adds to the flavor, mate.
No, thanks. No, thanks.
Yeah, I used to wash the ladies' hair. I'm dead gentle, so the women love me, naturally. Pedophiles. Cradle snatchers. I was 14 at the time. What was my first proper job? Was it working in a cash and carry? I think it was working in a cash and carry. Stacking shelves and doing the tills and stuff. Is it the kind of place where local shopkeepers buy all their stock from?
Well, I worked. I done a lot of odd jobs. It's from the time I was like 9 or 10 years old, or maybe I'd pick up pop bottles, I'd mow grass, I'd shovel snow. At the time,
I did all that. Like I remember clearing someone's fucked up garden with a friend
At the
How
time,
much was
we
it? I
had
think it may have been £3 an hour.
at the time we had a lot of farmers in my area, so I'd go shuck corn or pick tomatoes or something like that, you know. But my first proper job was working on a truck dock for a milk company. So the truck dock was refrigerated. You had to wear a coat, and man, that was a tough job. But I did it. But nepotism was against the rules. And the person that hired me was my uncle. So the word got out that we were related. So I left. I left so that he wouldn't lose his job. So
yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
I was just a kid anyway.
I wasn't a fan of working in the cash and carry. Shopkeepers, man, they have an alarming amount of arrogance about them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just like they think they can talk to you like shit and treat you like shit. But like, mate, you work in a fucking corner shop. You own an off license. You ain't better than me. At least I've got a uniform. Dick.
Yeah. Having said that, we're a little past an hour in, so you all know what time it is, right?
It's wee time.
It is. I'll be right back.
Hi, Dax. Dax, what are you doing?
Talking to the lady.
Always shocking extreme etiquette from you. What's going on with you anyway?
And do all that other good stuff, and you're talking to me about etiquette.
What?
Nothing. Everything's fine, by the way.
Yeah, shut up. Well, have you got a job?
Probably.
Probably. What? Do you have one or not?
Well, they got to finish like the background check and stuff, but probably.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Obviously, you're not going to say what it is here, but I assume it's better than the previous one.
It's ironic because it was like posted that it should pay less than what I was making at the other place, but not by much. But it actually pays a little bit more than what I was making.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you're actually going up in the world then. That's
Yeah,
good.
Lament how I wasted 13 years. Well, 12
Well,
years.
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's fine.
At the end of the day, but yeah, congratulations, man. It's only a background check. You're not a fucking criminal, so.
No, unless that one lady upped the ante, but I haven't had a police call about anything about it, so I can't imagine anything's a thing.
Well, to be fair, like she goes to the police and they review the CCTV footage.
Yeah, they were there in the office with me, 3 people. They didn't say a damn thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go further than that, mate. And even then, it's some bullshit misdemeanor anyway. So it's not like those background checks. They only really fuck you if they find some serious shit on there.
Which I don't, because I am an indoor hermit.
And it's American as well, so your background check should be a lot faster than what mine was.
Yeah, it's going to be a little rough for a couple of weeks because, the paycheck part is going to catch up to me eventually. But I think I'll be all right.
Would they not give you some kind of advance, no?
No, but I could probably borrow from my dad or something if I have to.
We'll say temporary. It's something that you have to do. I had to do something very similar when I started this job as well. Just the transition itself wasn't the best in the world, but luckily I had help. I did have to borrow, but it is what it is. I was paid back now, so what do I care? And
I pay off debts. That's something I can't abide. If I'm in your debt, I feel jittery.
Yeah, I don't like it. I had to borrow twice from the same person, but I paid him back, so he's happy with that. And I covered the fees as well via PayPal and shit like that. So
very nice.
Yeah. So and Doggy.
Yep.
The pirate pupper.
The pirate pupper.
Yeah, so she's
That's right.
One eyeball, so she's a pirate pupper.
I don't think I've ever looked at your dog.
This is Ruby Sue. Everybody calls her the pirate pupper or the pirate pooch.
Do you have an eye patch for the dog?
No, we have to get one.
I would like to see the eye patch on the dog when it happens.
That would be awesome.
I will put a picture. I will take a picture of her. Yeah, the sweater you guys are seeing her in came with when we adopted her from the Fosters, and it only gets on here when it's wet and cold and icky because she's very short-haired.
Oh, Maddie, but quick before I forget, you are also an anime fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I would also like to see the dog with an anime eye patch as well, because the Japanese have different eye patches.
I will see if I can find one.
Yeah, doggy waifu.
Yep. For those of you that don't know the story, when she was in foster care, a bigger dog aggressed on her, and the fosters acted quickly, but they couldn't get her to the doctor fast enough to save her eye.
Well, at least they're pretty quick about it. That's surprising considering how many bad fosters there really are out there.
She was, and we go to the fosters every day because it's one of my friends here in Texas, and the grandmother keeps apologizing. I'm like, don't apologize.
Oh.
It's not your fault it happened. It's not like it slowed her down any.
Dax died.
Yep, Dax died. Give her some catnip.
Poor doggo. I think my sister's dog, which was part King Charles Cavalier, part Jack Russell, didn't lose an eye or anything, but a cat went for it once and got it near the eye, and we just could not clear the infection. Like, we went to the vets, we got all the stuff from the vets, that a vet themselves treated it, and it took us ages to finally clear it.
Yeah. She handles it in stride. I mean, it hasn't slowed her down any. She loves wearing this sweater. So it's going to be interesting because somebody wants me to buy her a whole pirate outfit.
Well, you're going to have to. My doggo has a House Stark jumper.
Yeah. It's Ronan rubbed it in one day because I had a Twitter survey that, I took a picture of her in the sweater and I said, okay, guys, we need to settle this. Ronan says we need to put her in outfits. I don't believe in putting clothes on dogs. Do you or do you not want to see this dog in clothes? And he won. And I'm like, okay, this means we got to buy outfits for the dog.
Adorable.
You could create its own Instagram.
Oh, God.
The dog would end up getting more followers than you as well, because that's just the way the world works.
Oh, yeah. It's like he convinced me to get a TikTok, and the first freaking TikTok I uploaded, we got 25 followers because it was just a TikTok about this one. So,
well, people like doggos, don't they? So
they do.
Mm.
They like animals.
I'm a big fan of bigger dogs, though. Like I've got Gilbert. He's a stug, but I would have much preferred something a little bit bigger, preferably short hair as well. Don't get me wrong. As much as I think huskies are gorgeous dogs, they are some hairy doggies. I don't want that hair everywhere, So I would like something like I'm fairly sure that like Labradors are much better with their fur.
Yeah,
so I would have loved a Labrador or something.
I'm more a big dog person myself. I've had some small dogs, but I'm more a big dog. And Labradors I think are probably my favorite. Yeah,
they are gorgeous.
I've had mutts before we moved here. Before we got homeless, we had Zeus, who was a pity. This is my first small dog because they have a 25-pound limit on dogs in the apartment complex.
Yeah.
Rottweiler.
Tried to get another, pity or something because pitties, oh my gosh. Zeus was the most expressive dog I've ever had. And then you've got this one who will look at me, tilt her head to one side and put both her ears back. And I'm like, all right, here's some cheese.
Sean in the chat, get a Rott, Alex. I would love a Rottweiler. Rottweilers are gorgeous doggos. But given some of their temperament, it wouldn't be good for me to right now whilst Alfie's still really young, maybe when he gets older, I think it'd be a better. Like the next door's dog, which you guys have heard and never seen, is a Rottweiler called Bismarck, which offends me. By the way, I told him he's an ex British soldier, like he knows I'm like ex Navy as well. And I said to him, "What's the dog's name?" Bismarck, and I went, "Are you taking the piss?" And he just burst out laughing. I was like, "I am offended by your dog's name, sir." But
Saint the Bismarck,
mate, that dog is just as big as the Bismarck. Good grief.
My grandmother used to have a neighbor across the street from her that had a German Shepherd by the name of Chip.
Gorgeous doggies.
It was a beautiful German Shepherd. And it had the habit of whenever you cross the street to get on that sidewalk closest to his fence, he'd run up and bark at you. And one day I just kind of looked at him, made eye contact, and at the top of my lungs, I said, "Shut up, Chip." And he went, stuck his tail between his legs, ran into his dog house. And my friend goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. How could you stand there and do that?" I said, "There was a fence. There was a fence. The fence gave me courage. Otherwise, that would not have happened."
I had a tranquilizer gun and a biscuit. I was fine.
Yeah.
Michael brings up that he used to have 2 purebred Malamutes, and Malamutes are fucking stunning dogs. And Sean says he had a half Rottie, half German Shepherd. Oh, I would have loved to have seen that. Do you have any pictures you can send me? Guys, in my Discord, I have a pet room that you can dump pictures of your cats and dogs. I like looking at them.
If in a house that we used to live in several years ago, and I've talked about this house before, had in the back what I term a mother-in-law house. It was like a small house, had the same address we did, except and it had a half added to it.
Yeah.
It's just like a little 1-bedroom bungalow. Anyway, there was a fella at one point that lived back there that had a dog that was part wolf. It was part wolf and part husky.
Gorgeous, stunning.
It was an absolutely beautiful.
I bet you have to beast the absolute crap out of that dog every day.
It was so. She was so gentle, and such a good dog. So just beautiful.
Feels like everybody. There's a couple of people I'll be walking her, and there's 3 people already in the complex. Like, is that a boxer? No.
Boxers are ugly dogs.
It's a Boston Terrier.
Mind you, my dog is quite an ugly little bastard. he's got that stupid face on him as well. Because you know how pugs look like ball bags, don't they? But he's got that one tooth that sticks out on the bottom. I've got to get a picture of him doing it. I'll have to show you. I'll tag you all in it if I can get a picture of him doing it. He looks so stupid. Dogs are stupid animals. They really are.
My cousin used to have a pug, and that thing, I always thought it was, that dog drove me nuts because I thought it was dying all the time. Because it would walk around, it was like, I'm like, dude, are you okay? Oh, she just breathes like that. Oh Lord,
I can hear Gilbert. Sorry, I keep thinking of Goebbels.
Definitely Goebbels.
I can hear him snoring from upstairs. I don't mind it though, because it's a nice calming sound to me. You know, it just makes me. It just helps me relax a bit. But yeah, his breathing. Oh my god! Like you hear him run from the living room because he now runs through my office to get out the back, and poos in the back garden. Yeah, and a woman could be cleaning that shit up as well, literally. He's like, you know, it's like a pig with a cold.
Yeah, I know. Ruby's the first purebred I've had. I've always had mixes, except for the boxer when I was 4, and I don't remember that boxer. My mom had to tell me we had one, and she said, "Yep." She said, and I had to laugh because you had your friends over for your birthday party. She goes, and your boxer's name was Henry, and you had a friend named Henry. And you were trying to get your dog's attention, and you went, "Henry," and your friend went, "What?" And you just looked at him with this nonplussed attitude, and you looked at him in the face, went, "Not you, the dog."
I'm going to go grab my dog. Hold on.
I never had a boxer, but when I was a small kid, younger than 10, there was one that lived across the street that used to try to be the bully of the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
But my border collie at the time regularly beat the crap out of it.
Wow.
But I never owned one.
Gilbert.
Like I don't remember that one.
Gilbert. You fucking idiots! You're an idiot. You fucking stupid dog. Fucking mutts. Come here. Right.
The day Goebbels dies.
You look like a ball bag.
Gotta be careful, Alex. You don't want to be metal.
Right, come on, you stupid. Let's put you outside. Sorry if I echo. He pulled my headphones and speakers off my desk. So
Okay.
He's a spitting image of you.
bloody stinks. Needs a shower.
Like I said, spitting image.
Fuck off. Did I just show my booty on stream? Did I? I didn't mean to.
Nice plumber's butt.
Yeah. He's so ugly. He's cute.
Yeah, pugs are those animals. It's like they're so ugly. You go, oh.
Well, that is a stug. It's not a pug. It's half staffy, half pug. So he has the energy of a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, but he has the face for radio.
Oh God!
Bless him. Stupid dog.
Funniest thing that Zeus ever did was when we were back at the roach trap. Rona and I were sitting at the same table with our computers and stuff, and we'd eat back there. So I made him a peanut butter sandwich, and without looking, I just kind of reached to give it to him, and I felt him take it, and then we felt extra pressure, and we both looked, and Zeus had lightly put his maw on the sandwich, and he was looking at both of us like, uh-oh. He kind of leaned back and sat down and looked at us like, that wasn't for me. It's the funniest shit we'd ever seen, because I've never seen a dog do that. They're usually unapologetic when they snitch food. Not him. He sat back and looked as guilty as hell. Like, that wasn't for me.
Shut up! Now it's my dog barking on stream. Fucking mutt. He has a great temperament on him, though. He's great with the kids and stuff.
Well, good.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mardass, but oh well. Oh my God, this video is taking ages to render.
Yeah.
It's not even halfway done. How long is it? I can't tell.
It sounds like my rig. What, you didn't look before you rendered it?
Nah, I don't give a shit how fucking long it is, dude. Alex, you get offended at a dog called Bismarck, yet you own a dog breed named after the... I can't say that, dude. I can't say that. It's English, half English. It's Staffordshire Bull Terrier, mate. Staffordshire. English. Oof. I would love a bulldog, a British bulldog, but those things, they get some health problems.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! I would love one though. They're just so fat and lazy. I love it.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, I'm a fan of big dogs, but big dogs tend to get the hip dysplasia thing going. And...
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have to have the the hip score? Is it?
Mm.
Yeah. Is it the American bulldog I'm thinking of? What does the American bulldog look like? Okay, all right.
Similar to a pit.
Yeah, it does, but it has a much better temperament. I think my friend had one of those growing up. They're ugly. Yeah, I'd love a British bulldog. Just because, you know what I'd also like? I don't know what breed they're called. I call them the Dulux dog. You ever see Dulux, the paint advertisement? They're one of those dogs that basically have curtains for fur around their face so they can't see shit.
Oh, yeah.
you know
Yeah.
all you can see is their tongue. You can't see their nose or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd love it if my wife spoke English. Alex, you do? Listen, that was right. What? I was right, was I? Old English? No, that's not a sheepdog. Our sheepdogs are border collies. The English bulldog, yeah. But I like the one at a Pacific Rim that he's got. It's just a big old fat thing.
haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. He just has this really obese bulldog, and then you can hear it breathing. I like. Obviously, it's unhealthy as fuck, but like I like it when you get a really fat cat. I just think they're the best. They don't run away or anything. They just kind of just sit there and take it. There used to be one up the road from me, a big fat ginger one. It was huge. I couldn't believe it. I swear that cat was the same size as my dog. You know, it was just that wide and obese. You know, like it had fat seeping out of its collar, and that you could hear it breathing, and like it looked at me like it was deciding whether it was going to attempt to run away or not. Instead, it just kind of went and then climbed up the small wall, which sounded like one hell of an effort. My oldest boy is a fat beast. I do like a fat cat. I do like a fat cat. Obviously, it's not good for them and everything, but I just find them amusing. They can't run away as well, which is always good for me. So what else has been going on, guys? Like, I've been away for 4 days. I'm going back to work soon. Tomorrow's my last full day away from work. Oh, I'm not happy about this next block of 4 that's coming up, guys.
Oh,
yeah. The all 4 nights, I'm going to be on my own. Yeah. It's not as if I've dealt with 3 major incidents, or actually on my own, either whilst lone working or with an agency worker who was retarded in the last 2 blocks. But I'm going to be on my own for all 4 nights now. I'm scared. I'm worried. I'm scared. I'm buying those fucking Kevlar gloves before I go back.
so have you got any feedback about your recent issue?
I got the feedback that I was after. As you know, I was very distraught and upset and genuinely stressed out by it.
Yeah.
The fact that I had dealt with 3 major, incidents, 2 through lone working and 1 whilst I had a dumb ass agency worker on with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I did. And this was stressing me out because I wasn't getting the feedback from anybody. I didn't know if what I did was right. And I have worries about, I don't want to be unemployed again. I can't go back to that shit. And plus, this is like my ideal job. It's not my dream job, but it's certainly one that I'm good at. I know that I'm good at it, but I didn't have that confidence. So that morning, when I was getting super stressed, I was actually going to be relieved by the safeguarding officer. And she's 20 years of experience. She's a couple of positions above me, and she sat me down, and I walked and talked her through everything that had gone on. And she said, "Alex, there is nothing that you have done incorrectly whilst you've been here.
Well, good.
Everything that you've done has been absolutely correct, and you've shown that you care, and you've responded appropriately." And then she said, "Alex, I would have been marginally more aggressive than you." So I feel good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She goes from 0 to 100 like that, man. I have yet to see it though. I'd love to see her go from 0 to 100. Shut up, dog. Yeah, John Connor, you're absolutely right. Kind of like that no news is good news kind of thing. Oh, don't you start.
Right?
But yeah, it really, really put my mind to ease about the whole thing. It really did.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody, and welcome
Sorry.
back to Mad Woman Reviews. Oh, come on then, you fucking nuts.
I hate it when you accidentally tap a video on Instagram and you unmute it and you don't realize it until you roll over another video and it starts.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just locking up again. Oh, I'll have a full day tomorrow, just me.
Just you?
Well, I mean, it's not just me, obviously, but I get to... I could watch anime for half the day and play games the other half. I'll actually get some relaxation time in for this 4-day off. Be heaven.
Yeah, sorry I've got quiet. In the last 10 minutes, I've suddenly developed a bad headache. Sorry. Don't know where it's come from.
It's probably me being loud.
No. I'm used to loud, dude. We're a bunch of loudmouths.
Well, to be fair, have you not gotten used to how things are now?
As far as what?
Well, I mean, things are quiet in your home.
Well, sometimes yeah, sometimes no. Sometimes I don't.
remember how it used to be.
Yeah, it was pretty noisy. I mean, there wasn't a minute's peace. There was always something going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like chaos.
But we went from that to the exact opposite of just total quiet. And sometimes I'm okay with it. You know, if I'm distracting myself, I don't notice that, you know, I'm not paying attention. But like last night, just before I went to sleep, I decided to watch. Well, I was watching some Markiplier videos, and I've admitted before that I like Markiplier. And
well, there's nothing wrong with that, Bloodwing.
Right,
I really enjoy when he does the creative stuff.
Yeah, and what I got off on, and what I'd never watched, was his try not to laugh stuff. Where he watches those try not to laugh videos, and that he mentioned he's got a podcast where he does creepy pastas, but I wasn't able to get. I was going to listen to it, but I wasn't able to connect to it for whatever reason. Said it was unavailable. But anyway,
he has a great voice.
Oh yeah, awesome voice. That's the reason I wanted to check it out, because his voice would be great for that kind of thing. But anyway, that got me to looking up ghost videos. So I'm watching these supposed ghost videos just before I go to bed. And it struck me that that's what I was doing. Like, what are you doing? You have problems with nightmares anyway, you stupid old man. What are you doing?
This silly old man.
Well, and then, of course, I started hearing, when I got to thinking that, then I started freaking myself out and was hearing stuff like, what's that? What's that?
Yep.
And it's not that I believe in ghosts or anything like that. It's not that, or that the videos were particularly scary. It's that, like I said, I have a problem with nightmares anyway. I'm really starting to think it's the medication I take. It's the only thing the only connection I can make. And so I don't need any fuel for that fire.
Yeah.
I remember Paul was 2, and I thought I had put him to bed. And so, thinking that he was in bed asleep, I went back down to the basement with a friend of mine, and we were watching one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Love those. And
then, you know, after it was done and my friend went home and everything, I got into bed. Next thing I know, my 2-year-old's going, Mommy, the guy with the long nails and the ugly sweaters after me. Long nails, ugly sweater. Were you watching the movie when you were supposed to be asleep? That's what I thought. Come here.
Reminds me of when my kids were small. The show Tales from the Crypt on HBO were popular.
Oh yeah,
I loved it. But my kids knew that when they heard the theme song, dun 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 dun, 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 yeah, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
But they would do anything in the world to get up and try to catch a glimpse of it. I need a drink of water. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to, just any, and which made me feel bad, because one time my Mama Minnie, my daughter, got up in the middle of the night. She was about 4 years old, something like that. Maybe a little. No, the youngest was already born, so she was a little bit older than that. So maybe 6. But she got up, and I yelled at her to go back to bed, which is what I usually do, because they were just playing games, just trying to get a look at the TV. And she just stood there looking at me with this oddest look on her face. And when I went a closer look, I was going to grab her by the arm, take her to bed. I noticed there was something around her throat. The silly goon, she was sleeping under a comforter, one of those real thick down comforters, and like a sleeping bag, and the threading in it was like a fishing line. It was clear plastic.
Oh no!
And she had got some of that loose and got it wrapped around her throat so tight that her skin had folded over it.
No!
She couldn't breathe. Scared the crap out of me. You know how tough fishing line is. I reached in just out of panic. I got my fingers under it and snapped it. Now, I couldn't do that on a bed.
Yeah.
it made me feel bad later. I was getting ready to yell at her. Like, God. But yeah, they knew they knew that when they heard that theme song, it was time to go to bed.
Yep.
The only Crypt Keeper I let them watch, I don't know if y'all remember, but after it got popular, Crypt Keeper actually had a Saturday morning game show for kids.
Yep.
Yep. I'd let them watch that. It was like Crypt Keeper's Haunted House or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They still talk about that. They knew it was time for bed.
Yeah, I remember New Year's Eve, I was 9. I remember this vividly because my parents had got a babysitter and they told him that I wasn't to watch anything scary before bed because I had nightmares, which I did when I was that young. And so Dad could sleep in the daytime. We had the window in the spare bedroom or the guest bedroom boarded up, and I was sleeping in there because it was warmer in there than my bedroom. So the babysitter decides that he's going to calm me down because he doesn't think it's scary for me to watch the movie with the Crypt Keeper and all this. So I'm watching this stuff. It's New Year's Eve. My parents come back home, and the next thing they know, I am going into their bedroom because there's this guy with roots growing out of him asking me where his cake is. And since the room is pitch dark, whether I'm opening my eyes or have them shut, the dude has not stopped coming. So I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So the next day, my parents called the babysitter. And we're like, what on earth did you let my daughter see last night? Oh, and you thought that wasn't scary. She's 9.
Yeah. 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 I talked about getting nervous at night because I'm here by myself. I've never been afraid, to be alone or whatever. But I don't know. Since the kids moved out, the realizations come to me that I'm old, I'm crippled, and when the kids were all here, at least there was someone always in the house, so less likely anybody was going to bust in. And we have had some issues of people knocking on the doors, breaking in Dad's car. We've had people messing around the house. And it makes me a little nervous because I don't hear well. And if I'm sleeping, because I'm almost deaf in my right ear, if I'm sleeping on my good ear, I don't hear anything, It's like, shoot, somebody could break in. I wouldn't even hear them. So, yeah, it makes me a little nervous. I don't know why. The last year, I was never like that. Never at all. I walk out at night, alone and never be afraid. But I guess it's one of them getting old things.
Yeah.
And we get silence.
I was just thinking about the movie for Tales from the Crypt. I loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Now, if you look back at some of the old episodes, and I have seen some of the old episodes since, they were a little cheesy.
Yeah.
By today's standards.
Yeah.
But this was the 80s, Everything was cheesy in the 80s. Are you kidding?
Yeah. It's like my mom and I would sit down together and we would watch, when I got a little bit older, we would watch Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side, and there was one more. It wasn't The Crypt Keeper. It was one other one, and I can't remember the name of it. But we would watch those.
Well, speaking of Freddy Krueger's, he had a show too for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Freddy's Nightmares.
Yep.
And, of course, I always loved Freddy. He was always one of my favorite horror characters because his dark humor just made the character. That's why I didn't like the remake, because they skipped that fact. That's not Freddy. Freddy was always joking.
Yeah. Yep. The Outer Limits was the other part of the lineup. We watched Amazing Stories when it came out too. There were lots of lots of good shows like that.
When my kids were small, they were all into Goosebumps. And I
was into that.
I watch it with them. Some of those stories are pretty good and pretty creepy. I liked them.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was massively into Goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
I used to read the books as a kid, and I used to have the video cassettes as well of it. That puppet, that was like the main kind of lore, like outlining everything else. They used to get me.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are afraid of puppets and.
But it was a
whatnot.
ventriloquist doll.
Yeah,
a
dummy. You dummy.
Yeah. Straight Sif Mel. Nerd. Shut up, Straight Sif Mel. Just because your childhood sucked.
Hey, I was an adult and used to buy kids choose your own adventure books because I liked them.
Yeah, me too.
So, hey.
Why not?
Yeah. Did you ever read any of those choose your own adventures?
I didn't. I used to read a lot of books as a kid,
Yeah.
which is strange because I'm like retarded and can't read anything now. I used to read loads of different. I used to read a lot of so some of it was sci-fi, fantasy, many Goosebumps. So the Goosebumps books were quite short, but digestible for a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to read loads of stuff as a kid, but
Well, I love those because they were different because you chose how the story come out. At different points in the story, you made a choice, and it would tell you what page to turn to for that choice.
yeah.
And then you
Well,
read
I
on.
know
and then
how
you
they
get
work,
another
mate.
Huh?
I know how, yeah.
Well, I was explaining in case people in the chat.
I'm
didn't know.
surprised you don't big up Markiplier's A Date with Markiplier then.
Yeah.
Because that's a choose your own adventure video series he did.
Yeah. Suit Yourself tried that once, long time back. But yeah, I like those.
That is actually fucking genius as well. Like just having 16 endings or whatever, and having 32 videos, 31 of them unlisted, and like they're such a great thing to use in conjunction with YouTube's end card feature.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so smart.
Hey, Data.
So creative.
I got to finish re-uploading my the story that I had started to the Geek channel and stuff that I started on my main channel, because that was kind of like a choose your own adventure, but with a twist. Because by the time the book was done, it'd be a novel that wasn't a choose your own adventure, with all the proceeds going to illiteracy charity.
Okay.
The choose your own adventure part was every time a new chapter came out, at the end of that chapter, everybody that read it got to vote on 3 choices. That choice that got the most votes was my writing prompt for the next chapter.
I like it. They're very smart things, I think. You gotta be a patient man to write one of those.
Oh yeah. I don't think I have the stamina to take such an undertaking, because that would be massive.
Oh yeah, of course it would be. Huge undertaking. But I don't see why it couldn't be like its own video series. I'm surprised more people haven't done it. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine it being Markiplier's choose your own adventure thing must have taken ages, but his was funded, with special effects, cameras, actors, the full works, special effects. Like you could even do that with your Star Trek thing if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It'd be quite a cool thing. Creative.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of, I want to say again that, of course, 19's already in the can. It's already recorded and everything. Episode 20 will be a special episode because, Captain Hickenlooper gets a new ship.
Hey.
It'll be the Hold My Beer 3.0. And I like this new ship. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Fast.
It packs a punch. It's
Good.
not big. It's a lot smaller. It's probably about the size of the Defiant from DS9.
Okay.
About that side, maybe a little bigger than that. but oh man, it packs a punch.
Good.
Who needs
the third
defense
ship you
when
get?
when you can kill them before they shoot at you?
Right?
Yeah,
That's what you want.
but yeah, I'll have to put a little work in on that because, of course, since for a new ship, I'm going to have to redo my intro and outro. To
Yep. To reflect
that. Yeah. Straight says, yeah, that's cool. And I get a lot of people comment. Sorry, BW, I hate Star Trek, but I will give you that's all good. And that's fine. No worries. But it's not about Star Trek, dude. It's about this clueless redneck. It could be in any world, in any game. He just happens to be in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah. Give it a chance, people, if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's
never know,
not
you might
about
enjoy
Star
it.
Trek at all. That's just background. It's more about this clueless redneck and his all-female crew.
Like, what am I like, Bloodwing, for saying that I don't like something and then trying it and actually realizing that I love it later? Like, I hated 7 Days to Die. I also, believe it or not, hated Subnautica at one point. And then I watched Neebs Gaming do their series.
Well, you hate art too, so maybe you'll turn around on that someday.
Maybe. I mean, I told you I'd give it another chance.
Yeah,
I did say that.
Yeah,
but you were like, "Oh, okay, don't play with me then." I'm like, "I'll give it a chance." No, it's okay. Don't bother playing with me. I'm like, "Fuck you off, man."
My wife was looking at my game, and she's not really a gamer. A game for her is paint by numbers on her cell phone, right?
Oh, my missus loves that.
But she was looking at my art game the other day and was talking about she wanted to. She was thinking about buying it. I'm like, really? Of course, it's Animal Collection, and when I mentioned that every map has one unicorn, and that's her favorite thing in all the world is unicorn, she was all in.
Oh, it's like when Ronan would come for his days off, and he'd sit here and he'd sit at his computer and he'd play 7 Days to Die, and he kept talking about how we were going to be playing together, and I'm like, really not interested in that game.
Huh?
Really does not interest me. I'm not. This isn't, And I'm over here on my computer playing Don't Starve. And he goes, well, you're playing a survival game. I said, but I like this one. I said, that one just isn't getting my attention. And then he goes, can I show you the crafting? All right, show me the crafting. Then I started asking him questions, and he said, well, I said, all right, fine. I'll stream it with you.
Jack Gunsky, I don't know if you're having a go or you just misheard. No, A-R-K. Not
I didn't
art.
say art.
It sounded like you said art.
Did it?
Yeah. Tom of Gulf City says, oh, I'll give it a go then. Not a Trek fan either. Thought it was a Star Trek fan stream. No. Seriously, folks, give it, and if you give it a try, you don't like it, that's all good too. And it's all good if you don't want to give it a try. But don't let that be the stopper for you, because it's really not about Star Trek at all.
It's absolutely hilarious. You can enjoy it whether or not you're a Star Trek fan, because literally, imagine somebody that can't possibly be any more of a redneck, stick him in a starship, and just, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's a taco stream, Michael Weiner. Yeah, he's all about taco, the first officer.
Michael's a big fan. He's a big fan.
But it's yeah, he is. He's my biggest. And it's all about Captain BJ Hickenlooper, this impossibly redneck, totally clueless, and
I didn't say art, Sarah. I said arc. Arc. A-R-K. Alpha Romeo Kilo.
and the adventures of him trying to figure it all out. And of course, he has hired an all-female bridge crew because he thinks he's God's gift to women, but he never scores. Never. And just to give you an example, one of people's favorite scenes so far has been the scene where Captain Hickenlooper does a ship-wide announcement from the toilet. And all the sounds.
I would as well, to be fair. It's the phonetic alphabet, Jack. You know what that is.
Yeah, check it out. You might like it, but don't let the fact that you're not a Star Trek fan keep you away from it, because it's really not about that. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
I'm gonna gas the chat in a minute, like you. I'm gonna put my ass up against this.
Don't gas my chat. It's the best chat.
Why do I keep hearing a chihuahua yelling art?
I'm gonna ban everybody in the chat. Dax!
Speaking of, since you've been unemployed the last few days, I almost half expected you at the premiere Sunday, but you weren't there.
I was out with my father.
Well, that's excusable then. All right. If you're spending dad time, I'll let you pass.
He's the papa of the internet. I'm one of the appointed moms of the internet, and I'm Cuban. So that's a twofer. So don't ever tell me you haven't eaten, because I will respond by going, "Excuse me, you haven't been what?"
Well, I mean,
Uh
nothing.
huh.
I probably should eat something at some point soon.
I'm not screaming. I'm not screaming about art.
Chat, I've always said you guys are the best chat on the internet, and you're just confirming it with me. The way that you're
We'll see how much of a chat you have left when I ban everybody. Good luck getting rid of my wrench in time.
It's all right. If he does, I can unban you all. So. Oh.
I didn't say art.
Did you not hear me say earlier that my head hurt?
Yeah, well, that's your problem, not mine. Take a painkiller.
I'm going to as soon as the stream's over. I'm gonna find me something to eat and take some painkillers.
Sarah, I swear to God, all right. We'll be having words in the Discord later. I'm not a pirate. I used to hunt pirates.
You guys are great. I love you guys. I swear.
Stop sucking up, old man.
I'm dead.
I'm not sucking up, but you got to play to your audience, you know.
Yeah. I'm not screaming about. Oh my God. I love Overlord. Overlord is art. Shut up,
dog. He just wanted to get in on the act.
Yeah.
He was telling you, yeah, you tell him, Dad.
Pack his shit up.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Questions and not fucking why don't I like art, all right? I do like art.
Depends on the art. I'll be honest with you. There's some high art that I just don't get.
Oh, well, of course. They're the weird ones where someone's just stood up and just painted a black line on a white canvas, and somehow that's an amazing piece of art.
It's beautiful.
But it's a black line. Of course, I'm a blue collar guy. I don't have highfalutin taste. I'm more the painting of the dogs playing poker on velvet kind of guy.
Yeah. I like anime. All of it. All of it!
Which is odd because I'm the exact opposite. I hate all of it.
You hate arts then, don't you?
You're so weird.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't like anime?
There's been so much different anime. You can't hate it all.
Yeah, I know. He says this, right? But I don't like any anime.
I don't like.
Hasn't watched all anime.
Furthermore, I don't even like the Japs. I hate all the Japs.
Whoa.
That's fucking racist.
It's just a joke, YouTube. Come on.
I'm telling someone, Oprah.
You get a ban, and you get a ban, and you get
I'm telling somebody, and preferably someone with money.
But no, see, I just never got into the whole Japanese culture thing that everybody seemed to jump on a few years back and hasn't stopped.
In fact, I get what you mean, and I just want to kind of make the distinction here because Dax, can you please explain to these people what a weeb is?
A weeb is someone who is absolutely gung-ho batshit crazy for the stuff. Doesn't matter what it is. If it came out of Japan, they want to jizz on it and then consume it.
Emphasis on the jizz.
Usually.
And it's not just anime, it's everything Japanese.
I mean, I don't even
Japanese.
I don't even like sushi, folks. Come on.
Well, I've actually never had sushi, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, Data, I'd go to Japan just to visit, a chance to visit someplace different. Yeah. But I would probably go visit the temples and stuff like that, things with historical significance,
Would you not go to the Robot Hotel?
No.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, I wouldn't even stay there. I just like to see it in action.
Yeah, I mean, I would go and probably go see the historical significant sites, like the temples, and maybe even go see Hiroshima,
Sarah, what does Maddie irrationally hate? Well, if you would have caught my stream this morning, you would have figured it out. Anything having to do with the Castros.
Are you
that
saying
irrational?
Oh, I went on a rant this morning.
Yeah. Are you saying, Sarah, are you saying my hate of anime is irrational?
I think she is. You don't hate it. You're just not for you.
No. I'm being strong and I'm joking. But yeah, I don't care for it. I don't like it. I have tried it. I've tried different ones. My kids, you say, oh, well, you got to watch this one. You'd like it. No, I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
Not all anime.
Yeah. To be, let me see. Non-political about my irrational hate. I have an adverse reaction to 2 songs. If I hear them, I will either shut off the computer, or if I'm listening to radio, I will change the station. One is that motherfucking stupid Yellow Submarine bullshit.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
Oh, and the other one is that fucking Hey Mickey from 1980. My God, those
I might have to fight you on Hey Mickey.
songs ever.
Hey, Nikki, you're so fine. You're so
Mickey.
fine.
I like the remake of it. Hey, Ricky. It was supposed to be Lucy and Ricky Ricardo.
I do. Thank you, Sarah.
I happen to like Yellow Submarine, but I'm a huge Beatles fan, so of course I do.
I like Revolution. I like Hey Jude, Let It Be, and one other one. Other than that, the Beatles are just, it's okay, fine. But it's Yellow Submarine, and I remember the look on my kid's face because his friend had asked me if I could download some music for her and put it on a CD. And so, I'm downloading the music, and obviously you have to listen to it. And she had Beatles songs on the list. And I said, all right, I'm going to have to play this thing to make sure it plays all the way through without skipping. And the first time Paul heard Cuckoo Cuckoo, I Am the Walrus, he went, what is that? And I went, that's the Beatles. He goes, why'd you download that? I said, because it's on your friends list.
And I see people saying in the chat, the Beatles are overrated. The Beatles are meh. That's fine. You're welcome to your opinion. I happen to think they're very great. I enjoy them quite a lot. Everybody's tastes are different.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, too, also, that I grew up when they were still together. When they were conquering the U.S., in the 60s. So
it's like my dad introduced me to all kinds of music, and as far as he introduced me to the Beatles, the Ventures, the Eagles, let me see, Sly and the Family Stone, Tennessee Ernie Ford. I mean, anything that just spanned the entire range of music. That's what Dad listened to. And then Mom listened to that, and then throw in some Latino singers. And,
Sarah, you're absolutely right. You're catching on. She says that's the nice Southern way of saying you're wrong.
Right. Exactly.
I like the Stones too. I never understood this thing that you can't like both the Beatles and the Stones, but it exists. It's like people think that you can only be a fan of the Beatles or a fan of the Stones, but you can't be both. And they're wrong. I like them both.
Of course, I have the highly unpopular opinion of saying that Guns N' Roses would have just been better if Axl Rose would have kept his mouth shut so I could hear Slash play.
Oh, don't get me started on Axl Rose. He's a Hoosier boy, by the way. Anyway, we are a minute over. Man, how time flies when you've got good company and you're just talking. And...
Sarcastic bastard.
But thanks, chat, for coming out. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, because you could do. There's a lot of things you could do besides hanging out with us, but you chose to hang out with us, and I do appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. Thanks to those that were able to give donations. Appreciate that. It'll go to good use. Maddie, thanks for hanging out with us. Anything you want to shout out?
Yep. Hang on just a second. This is the latest Geek blog link. So check that out. That's from yesterday's Geek News. So I'm trying to get more followers on that blog and that channel. So please.
All right. Dax, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Good. I love the good news you had.
I'm hoping it turns out okay.
Anything you want to shout out?
We all live in a yellow
and Alex, as always, dude, thank you for coming. Anything you want to shout out? I know you've been working on a video.
Yeah, in a couple of hours' time, I will be premiering a rather long video about Foodie Booty and this crazy racist bitch. And it also has a Lord Bear diss track at the end of it. So come along and enjoy, folks.
Well, there you go. And as for me, the next Redneck Radio will be Thursday at 2:30 Eastern. And episode 19 of Redneck Truck will premiere on Sunday at 5:30 Eastern.
Sunday.
That's right.
Sorry, it's like a tick now.
Yeah.
Go make sure you're there, people. Fucking watch it.
You'll only
hate art.
You'll only need the edge, but we'll sell you the whole seat.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, be careful. Sorry, the wife has to go get her daughter. Our daughter.
It's her daughter today.
Yeah, today.
She fucked up somewhere. She's no longer part of Bloodwings DNA.
Anyway, thanks everybody for coming out. But we're gonna get out of here. So get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So why do you hate art?
Shut up.